Hello dear students, today we'll start module 5 of metrology and instrumentation. We have already seen many metrological instruments and concepts of metrology in module 1 to 4. Module 5 and 6 covers instrumentation. Let us start with the definition of measurement. You all know the simple definition of measurement, that is, measurement is comparison with a standard. Or we can define measurement as a process in which the property of an object or a system under consideration is compared to an acceptable standard unit. In the modern scenario, measurement is having a very high significance in the modern science and technology field. As you know, the science and technology is developing day by day, new phenomena and discoveries happening day by day. So we need sophisticated, precise measurements in order to back up the new discoveries, in order to prove the new discoveries, or in order to confirm various studies happening in science and technology. Now let us see fundamental methods of measurement. Methods of measurement can be classified into two. One is direct method and second one is indirect method. In direct methods, the unknown quantity is directly compared against a standard. For example, collecting 1 liter of water from a tank by a 1 liter cup. So there it is direct comparison. And the result is expressed as a numerical number. But this method is not preferred much and it is rarely used. And also the sensitivity obtained is very less. But in indirect methods, instead of directly comparing, we are deriving a relationship between the measured quantity and the desired result. Usually in engineering applications, we commonly uses this method. For example, for measuring the temperature, instead of directly measuring the temperature, we are measuring the change in resistance or EMF and indirectly measuring the temperature. So usually electrical methods are used since they are fast, simpler, easy to process. This method is commonly used because this method is more accurate and more sensitive. Now let us see classification of measuring instruments. The first classification is based on standard used for measurement. Under that, you can classify instruments as absolute instruments and secondary instruments. In absolute instruments, they give the magnitude of quantity under measurement in terms of a physical constant of the instrument. They won't give direct what is needed. Instead, they give a physical constant of the instrument. From that, we have to calculate the required reading. An example is Rayleigh's current balance. Second one is secondary instrument. So they directly give the output. That means the quantity measured by is measured by observing output indicated by the equipment. An example is voltmeter. So secondary instruments directly give the output or result what we needed. So it is commonly used and it is a direct reading machine. So commonly in industries and all, or in practical applications, we go for secondary instruments. But absolute instruments, as we have seen, they give a magnitude of the or the magnitude is measured by physical constant. It gives the value of physical constant of the instrument. So then we have to calculate the required measurement value. So it takes a lot of time to compute. The advantage is it's more accurate. So usually in research and development or R&D institutes or for research in research labs, we'll go for absolute instruments. Next classification is based on working. So based on working, it can be classified into automatic instruments and manual instruments. For automatic instruments, no manual assistance is needed. An example is our common mercury thermometer. For manual instruments, we need manual assistance. For example, Wheaton's bridge. We have to move the arms of the bridge, so manual assistance is needed. That's why it comes under manual instruments. Third classification is based on source of power. Based on that, we can classify into self-operated and power-operated. For self-operated, we don't need power, but for power-operated, we need power supply. Next classification is based on the construction. Under that, we can classify into self-contained instruments and external construction instrument. In self-contained instruments, all the parts are enclosed in one physical assembly. Again, example is mercury thermometer. In external construction, the different elements of the instrument are connected by a data transmission element. They are not enclosed in one physical assembly, but they are having different elements, and they are connected together by data transmission elements. Example is a resistance thermal detector. And the fifth classification is based on the function of the instrument. So based on that, it can be classified as indicating type and recording type. So if it just indicates the output, it is indicating type. But if it records also, it is coming under recording type. Now let us see various stages in a generalized measuring system. The main stages are: first one is sensor transducer stage, second one is signal conditioning stage, third one is readout recording stage. We can explain with the help of a block diagram. So as you can see, this is first stage. As you know, first stage is sensor transducer stage. So in the first stage, you will be having a primary sensing element and a transducer. And second one is signal conditioning stage. That is this. So it is having a signal conditioning element, then a data transition element, and a data processing element. And the third one is readout recording stage. So that is that stage is having a data display, a transducer, and a data recording unit. So this is the layout of a simple measuring system, the various stages of a simple measuring system. So initially the input will be picked up by a primary sensing element, and for that we are having a transducer, and that in order to capture the input, and that input is given to a signal processing or signal conditioning element, and the data is again transmitted, and that data is processed, and after that the final result is displayed, and that is recorded. So we can say that the main four parts of a measuring system are sensor, then transducer stage, signal conditioning stage, and output stage. Now let us see the components one by one. So as I told you, the first element is a sensor. We can say that sensor is actually a pickup element. So whatever we have to measure, the that is picked up by this sensor. The input is picked up by the sensor, and then it is given to a transducer. A transducer is a device or a component which converts one form of energy into another form of energy. So for example, if you have to measure the uh, temperature, uh, a sensor will be there which senses the temperature, and that temperature will be converted to some other form. That is done by a transducer. It will be converted into a change in EMF or a change in resistance. So that unit is transducer. Next is signal conditioner. So that unit is used for signal conditioning. Actually, signal conditioning is used to improve the quality of the output or input made by the system. As we have seen, the input signals are taken by the primary sensor, and that is given to a transducer. So if the output of the primary sensing element or a transducer is very low, we have to improve that. So for that we use signal conditioner. Also we may have to filter some unwanted signals, and also we may have to convert the analog signal into digital signal. So for that purposes we use a signal conditioner. So actually it is a optional stage. If the signal coming from the transducer is good enough, we can avoid signal conditioner, but uh, we can use this signal conditioner for this purposes, like it can be used to increase magnitude of the signal by amplification. It can be used to remove portion of the signal by filtering. It can be also used to provide mechanical or optical linkage between the transducer and the output range. The next stage is output stage. It is the output unit. So it is used to display or analyze the final output of the measuring system. Examples are cathode ray oscilloscope or some other recorder. You can also classify the input quantities. You can classify as time dependence and analog and digital signal. Under time dependence, there are two types: static, that means their input quantity is constant with respect to time. Second one is dynamic, that means the input quantity will vary with respect to time. So under that dynamic also there are two types: one which is steady, and another is non-repetitive. Second classification of input quantity is into analog and digital signal. You are familiar with analog and digital signal. Analog signals are having some difficulty in processing, so normally we go for digital signal. uh, so this slide will show you some comparison about analog and digital signal. And of course analog signal is difficult to process and it is difficult to store, but digital signals are easy for processing and storing. So normally we'll go for a digital signal. If you are getting the input as analog signal, we'll convert it into digital signal for processing and further operations. So that's all in this topic. In the next video we'll be seeing the characteristics of measuring instruments. Thank you for watching. Thank you.